Welcome back to Ghoster Coasters. Last time on our channel, we talked about Intamin and Cedar Fair potentially rekindling their relationship from the El Toro Ryan rumors in his video. And that got us wondering.
So, who are they working with and who could they potentially be working with in the future?
So make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe, and comment down below what you think is going to happen, and stick around because we're going to get into it right now. Starting this off, we're going to go with the safer bets within the Cedar Fair chain, and we're going to go with Zamperla first. Family rides and flat rides that they already offer, and potentially thrill rides, but we're going to go ahead and get into the new expansions going on around the chain.
So they're working on several different things. As far as Kings Island, they've got Adventure Port. Cedar Point, they're doing the boardwalk. And at Carowinds, they've got Aeronautical Landing. And let's not forget that the potential with Top Thrill Dragster.
Yeah, the Top Thrill Dragster one, we do think they might potentially be in on the trains. Again, that's up in the air because who knows, honestly.
Right.
Intamin could still be in on this. But that also leaves us wondering, rides like Time Warp at Canada's Wonderland. Will we see more Zamperlas going in around? Because they have tons of awesome and unique flat rides. We think it's a safe bet that Cedar Fair will be working with them going into the future, and that's when we expect to see more at Cedar Fair parks going on.
Absolutely.
Rolling the dice on our second safe bet with Cedar Fair is going to be mock rides. The potential for more mock rides coasters is bountiful within the chain. Where do you think we could see some more mock rides at?
I definitely think Carowinds could get a power splash. They really need something like that.
A water coaster at Carowinds in that heat, yeah,
Yes,
that would
definitely.
be perfect, honestly. I'm not a water coaster fan, but Carowinds, if you're listening.
And I also think that Kings Island and Canada's Wonderland both could benefit from a LSM from them.
Yeah, a launch coaster definitely belongs at both of those parks. Whether that's Intamin or Mock is up for debate, but I would definitely take a ride like Copperhead Strike from Carowinds at Kings Island on that Vortex plot.
All day long.
You wouldn't hear one single complaint from me. I'm sure somebody would find a reason to complain about it out there, but that would be the exact plot replacement that I would love. I would love a launch coaster there. I mean, they got Backlash Stunt Coaster and Flight of Fear, but they need a powerful launch that's a little more than just that, and I think that would be perfect for them. So Mock Rides is our second safe bet within the Cedar Fair chain. Alrighty then, rolling into our third safe bet with the Cedar Fair relationships. We're going to go with B&M here. B&M has the potential to build plenty of rides throughout the chain still, even though we see one at every single park, basically. Starting off, we believe that...
I believe Dorney Park should be getting a dive coaster.
Yeah, we'll know soon on their earnings call what it's going to be, hopefully, but a lot of people have pretty much laid it out to a dive coaster layout with the footers that we've seen out there, but there's also more potential throughout the chain.
Yes, they have capabilities for launches and surf coaster, which would be great.
For Kings Island, yeah.
Yes, pay homage to King Cobra.
That would be fantastic. I mean, again, I'm not looking forward to the surf coaster models yet, guys. I think you feel me here. But if it goes well at SeaWorld Orlando, we could very well see a surf coaster at Kings Island coming. So, guys, prepare yourselves now. That's something that could be coming. And, I mean, Cedar Point also has a very old hypercoaster and Magnum there, so we've seen the potential for parks to build two of the same models. Kings Island has two of the same models right next to each other. The Giga Orion and Diamondback is a hyper. They're both hyper models.
Yep.
So we've seen it before, and Cedar Point did potentially almost build a Giga on the Mean Streak plot well before they converted it to an RMC. So we've seen the potential for them to be willing to do it. They love B&M. So the potential's out there, guys. We could maybe see a new age hypercoaster, and the safe bet would be a B&M hypercoaster at Cedar Point. So these are just some random thoughts here, but that will be our third safe bet.
Let's not forget about some possible inverts at the smaller parks like Valley Fair.
Yeah, that's very true. Valley Fair needs an invert, so B&M. That's our safe bet, number 3.
And rolling into number 4, we have GCI. Now, wouldn't it be great to see a little bit more coming into some of these parks? I mean, they already have, Prowler, Mystic Timber, Zambezi Zinger.
Coming in Worlds of Fun. Yeah, and I mean, with the success of those rides, it's kind of hard to argue why wouldn't you build more GCIs within the parks. Carowinds could definitely use a New racing coaster since Thunder Road closed in 2015, and we could see a dueling GCI over the state lines. That would be phenomenal addition for that park. I would love that.
Or they could tighten track hurler.
Or they could do both and get a deal from GCI.
Ooh, even
Look at this,
better.
guys. Put us in charge. I would love to see that. But there's also potential for one at Cedar Point, too. Everybody says they need a modern wooden coaster. So in all seriousness, Cedar Point, a Gravity Group or GCI would be awesome. I know everyone's going to want GCI here. I'm kind of leaning somewhere else, so stay tuned for that in the rest of this video because we're going to get into that later. But GCI is going to be our fourth and final safe bet going forward with the Cedar Fair chain. Rolling the dice on some interesting potentials going forward. Here we're going to start with the renowned
RMC, because you know I love that.
I love RMC as well. We think they're a great company, but the problem going forward is there's all these rumors of the hassles that they've had with, Steel Vengeance, all the maintenance nightmares and the problems with the brake run, things like that. And then, of course, the mid-course brake run as well being angled and trains getting stuck up there and them having to do some work there too. So there has been some issues within the chain with Cedar Fair and RMC, but there's still plenty of potential for RMCs. Now, where could you potentially see an RMC going?
Kings Island. I think they should do a Son of Beast reimagined. Maybe from the ground up.
I would love it. I know Cedar Fair is scared of, their past failures and mentioning them, but they do have a plaque commemorating Son of Beast right in front of Banshee. So it makes me wonder if they're a little more willing to revisit that Son of Beast thing ever again. And, what's in the shed at Mystic Timbers?
Right.
Who knows? Son of Beast rendition could be what they're talking about. Call me crazy in the comments below. I know you guys are kind of thinking it already, but I would love to see it. Or even just a ground up RMC at the park as well. That would be fantastic to see. Now, Carowinds has a monstrosity of a wooden coaster over there.
Oh, hurler will kill ya.
Herder will actually hurt you. So it's one of those things, GCI Titan Track, or could we see it get RMC'd like its sister over at King's Dominion with Twisted Timbers? But
I'd rather see it get RMC'd.
Me too. That's just how I feel about it. I would love to see it get RMC'd. Now, we're going to get into a crazy one here.
So, I think going with a regional park like Michigan Adventures.
Yes. Now, hear me out. We had a conversation with a buddy the other day, and they were talking about the issues with RMC's, capacity. Obviously, Cedar Point didn't hit 1 million riders on Steel Vengeance until, its 4th or 5th year. So that's just kind of insane as it is. But the smaller scale parks like Fun Spot Atlanta getting Airy Force 1, or even, Iron Gwazi being one of the best coasters in the world. Busch Gardens Tampa is a big park. I understand that. It's not a huge coaster destination. It wasn't.
Right.
It had its reasons to go there for sure, but it wasn't the biggest, best coaster lineup ever. Now you must go to ride Iron Gwazi. And these smaller scale parks have a little bit more time on their hands for coaster upkeep. Their maintenance teams aren't able to keep up with it, and their capacities aren't needed as much. So it's one of those things. Michigan Adventure don't make much sense when you think about it.
But it does.
When you start to break it down, there are none close to it. Cedar Point is over 5 hours away. If Kings Island built one, it's about 6 hours away. Six Flags Great America in Chicago. And if they built an RMC at Michigan Adventure, they wouldn't have to build anything there for another 20 years. It'd be very interesting, just a quick drive up the west coast of Michigan there and by Lake Michigan, and there you go. So let us know how crazy that thought is down below.
Good destination, too.
Yeah.
Beaches, beautiful.
Yeah, if that's what you're into for the Michigan beaches. But talking about the amusement parks here, it would be a great steal of, regional customers. So let us know what you think about that one down below. But RMC is definitely still in the running for potential coasters in the Cedar Fair chain. It's just not up on our highly likely list. So bet at your own odds. Next up, we have Vekoma.
Yeah, and you know what? We have a few things that we think won't go for them.
Yeah, definitely.
The problem with the S&S situation.
Yeah, S&S owns, the family company. So why would they build a Vekoma when S&S could build a coaster, like an Axis coaster or something unique there? There's always going to be that hurdler question because they don't have American manufacturing here. And there's not very many Vekomas here. I know they're getting one at Codaland, and they're getting one at Dollywood with Great Bear Mountain, or Big Bear Mountain, sorry. Let me get that right.
Yep.
But it's just one of those things. There's always a hurdle before you think you'll see a Vekoma here. I personally would love to see it.
I'm not quite sure, I'm not a fan of Invertigo, so
yeah,
I know they do different coasters, but
yeah, these rides are 20 years old, and I know she wanted to get that in there, but I'm gonna address that really quickly too. Is old Vekoma isn't new Vekoma. New age Vekoma looks amazing. Everybody pretty much unanimously agrees on that, and a lot of people agree that the Slam and Bangs and the old and Boomerangs and stuff are bad rides. We know that. Don't go into those expecting Vekoma to blow you away, guys. But the new age ones look like they could really change someone like my mother's opinion, which is what I want to see. And I want to see it too, because I don't think Invertigo's great either. That is one of my least favorite rides. Hurler and that, least favorite rides ever.
About Big Bear Mountain, because I want to change my mind about Vekoma.
Yeah, and that looks like a great family coaster, and it's not Cedar Fair chain again, but it's one of those things that's coming to America, and we could see the potential of everybody liking it, and maybe Cedar Fair opening their hearts to them. So,
yes,
Vekoma is not very safe bet here, but it's something that we're liking to bet on because we hope to see it. We hope to be swayed. We hope our mind is changed, and we hope Cedar Fair is willing to create more unique rides, bring more unique things to them. Vekoma's offering unique rides right now.
Build relationships with different companies.
Yeah, more manufacturers, and be willing to be great. You don't, reach greatness by playing it safe all the time. So Cedar Fair, play it a little more risky and take a bet on one of these other companies, please. Vekoma, that is another one of our potential ones, but not likely bets. Now, this one's unique because they're technically already within the parks, but we're putting this in the potentials going forward, and that's going to be the
Gravity Group.
Now, with Gravity Group, they've been retracking plenty of rides throughout the chain.
They've done Grizzly, they've done the Beast, and they're working on the Racer currently. And let me tell you, the Beast retrack, wonderful.
Yeah, and let's clarify, they're working on Grizzly right now too. That is far from complete. So they're still working on Grizzly too, but they're clearly already within the chain, and they're known for their retracts. But could we potentially see a ground-up Gravity Group built within the chain? That's something I would love to see. And the one park that desperately needs a wooden coaster is
Cedar Point.
Desperately.
Yes, and having a ground-up Gravity Group would differentiate them from all the other woodens that they have at Kings Island.
Yes, because Kings Island has all their GCIs, the GCI and then the in-house with the Beast. So they're focused on the low-to-the-ground whippy elements. Voyage at Holiday World is technically a hybrid coaster. It's got steel supports and wood track. That would help Cedar Point greatly with their maintenance issues that they have. So if they're looking for a world-class wooden coaster, why not call the Gravity Group, who also have the potential to do loops on their wooden coasters as well and inversions? It would differentiate from Kings Island perfectly while still being a world-class wooden coaster that's desperately needed within the lineup, bringing in guests from even Kings Island's park.
Yes.
That would be something I would love to see. And again, like we said, it cuts down on the maintenance problem because we already know Cedar Point has a problem with carpenters. That would be fantastic if they could cut into that, and all of those wonderful carpenters at the park that do put in plenty of time and hard work had something a little easier to maintain.
And give all of us enthusiasts a good wooden coaster.
Yeah, I would love to see something like the Voyage at Cedar Point. So Gravity Group is on our potentials just because we see them potentially building a ground up within the Cedar Fair chain coming soon.
And last but not least, due to recent rumors of Cedar Fair's ex riding Velocicoaster and potential talks for multiple launch coasters within the Cedar Fair chain, we are going with
Intamin. Now, we do think that this relationship will likely be repaired if those rumors are true, and that's a big if. If those rumors are true, we see the potential for many Intamin roller coasters within the chain. Canada's Wonderland, for example, would love an Intamin roller coaster. A launching coaster would do wonders there. There's plenty of potential for Intamin within the chain, and if any of that's true, that's good for all of us enthusiasts, general public, everybody, because that's another top-tier manufacturer back to putting rides in the park and a good relationship to have within the chain.
Absolutely, I'm excited.
Yeah, we definitely think that that is a safe bet going forward. If those rumors are true, that Cedar Fair and Intamin will be bringing us more record-breaking greatness again. Make sure you guys hit that like button because, again, it definitely helps us against the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We love talking roller coasters and amusement parks with all of you guys. And leave a comment down below and let us know who you would like to see Cedar Fair working with and who you would place your bet on for Cedar Fair to be working with over, say, the next decade or so.
Thanks for being a part of the spooky community in Coaster Ghosting with
Ghoster
Coasters.
Have a great night, everybody.